windswept plain. In the midst of an island kingdom, there lies a track where legends used to roam. Hi, and thanks for joining us for the 4th round of the Missed Apex Formula 3 Challenge as we travel to one of the most iconic of all Formula 1 circuits, Silverstone. From the savagery of Stowe to the courage test of Cops, the drivers will be pushed to their absolute tire-melting limits as the championship rounds grow fewer and the lead grows tighter. To get us underway today, please give a big welcome to your commentators, Chris Stevens and Chris Catman Turner.
With the first half of the season in our rearview mirror, we set our sights on the final 3 rounds of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. Welcome to round 4 from the iconic Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. Chris Stevens on lead comms. Alongside me, it's Chris Catman Turner. Chris, it's been another exceptional start to the season and we're only halfway through it.
It has. It flies by so quickly. And actually, do you know what? It's not been as predictable as some feared. You know, there is definitely a lot of action up and down the grid to keep us on our toes.
Certainly has. Let's head trackside for the final few minutes of free practice. And this fantastic Silverstone circuit, as we see Stephen Williams, the championship leader, flying through Copse Corner. And we will talk more about him and his impressive victory at the Nürburgring last time out. But before, let me welcome all of you on the YouTube stream on the Missed Apex Motorsport YouTube channel. Already some comments in the live chat there. Welcome to you all, and please do get your comments in as we go along this evening. So we have the final few minutes of free practice here, just to run you through the rest of the event. We will then go into a 10-minute open qualifying session, so not like in the officials, if you're familiar with iRacing, where you go out on the track yourself and you get 2 flying laps. It will be all the cars out on track together for 10 solid minutes of hot lapping action, and that will set the grid for the feature race, and that will be the first of our 3 races for the night. At the end of that 12-lap race, we take the top 20, we reverse it, that sets the grid for sprint race 1. And then we do the same again. We take those results, the top 20, flip them again, and that will set the grid for sprint race 3. 60 points for the feature race victory, 50 for both of the reverse grid races. And unlike the last couple of rounds, Chris, where the overtaking has been a little bit difficult at, say, Suzuka and Nürburgring, here it's not beyond the realms of possibility. We could see the feature race winner come through the pack and win the reverse grid race as well.
Absolutely, and that's one of the joys of this wonderful circuit. It's nice and wide, there's lots of different lines you can take. And actually, hopefully a little bit later in the build-up, we're going to get Alex Van Gien on and we'll ask him a few questions, because he's our master defender. So we'll get him on and ask him how he approaches defending around Silverstone. But yeah, it's going to be a fascinating race this evening. I do like the shake-up in format to give 2 first grid sprint races with a decent reverse on them, Chris, because it has meant that the title challengers have had to fight their way through.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen plenty of calamities in the first few races. Alex, I think, got a bit of netcode there towards the pit wall as he was heading down the old pit straight, but carrying on his way. Yes, we've seen Danny had a bit of a curse of the race too. In multiple races last season and indeed in this season as well, where he's dominated the feature race and then clattered into somebody at the start of race 2, and that has at the very least kept the championship nice and tight.
Yeah, it's not just enough to be fast in this championship. You have to be able to overtake and keep it clean as well. It's probably the most important thing. And people aren't just going to jump out of the way in the with the bright red car in their wing mirrors nowadays. They're fed up of seeing him at the front and want to have a battle.
Yes, absolutely. And Danny Henney, a man who's been under pressure in these last few rounds, and we saw Alex Van Gien putting in a phenomenal drive last time out as well, defending for the lead of the final race of the night. But this man right here, number 93, Danny Henney, had quite a shocking event, really, it must be said, certainly by his standards. But don't take my word for it. If you missed the action last time around, here's what happened. After a 3-month hiatus, the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup roared back into life as the series approached the midway point of the season at the Nürburgring. As the leaders round turn 12 for the first time, and we've got the first big slipstream opportunity. Gomes just looked a little wide there. That could be an opportunity for Power. It is indeed, as they're side by side coming down the straight. Now Power will have the outside line for the Vidal chicane, but Gomes sensibly backs out of it and lives to fight for another day. Power up to second place at the end of lap 1. Having claimed his second pole position of the season, Luca Harrison eased his way to the feature race victory, firmly throwing his hat into the ring for the championship. Harrison, who has taken 3 podium finishes so far this season. He's taken 2 wins, and now he makes it a 3rd and he's 1st in the feature race. Behind him, there was a fierce battle for the remaining places on the podium between Kyle Power, reigning champion Danny Henny, and series newcomer Gregor Gomes. But disaster would strike for Henny as he lost the car while passing Power for second. Down the inside he goes. He's gone wide though, he's spun! Reducing him to a 7th place finish. Henny struck back in the first of the 2 reverse grid races, coming through the pack to take a comfortable win. Milan doing everything he could to try and repel him, but Ellis goes through. Meanwhile, here comes Danny Henny to take the victory. It was a disaster in race 1, but he strikes straight back in race 2. The champion's luck would change once again in race 3, however, as he collided with the leading Alex Van Gien and Alexander Dobbelsberger, damaging his car. Dobbelsberger's still going for it! Henny's tagged! Van Gien, they bang wheels! Williams going to go through to the lead!
But I think Henny has got some damage on that front left corner.
Williams goes through into the lead, Dobbelsberger goes through as well! That let Stephen Williams through into the lead. He resisted pressure from Dobbelsberger for the remainder of the race to take his first win of the season. With his consistent podium finishes, Williams took the championship lead away from Henny by 7 points after round 3. Power sits 3rd, just 1 point behind Henny, with Harrison and Ellis still in contention. Spanners took over the reins in the gold standings from Brian Boomsma, who was absent from the Nürburgring round, as Colton Myers stretched a lead of 7 points over EJ Anderson in the silver class. Well, as you saw there, 8 points covering the top 3 at the front of the championship between Williams, Henny and Power. And Chris, Williams leading that championship now. You said that it's not good enough to be fast, you have to be consistent, and Williams has been Mr. Consistent this season, and only 1 win to his name.
He has. He's had to keep his nose clean to get those points, but as you said, it's kept him in the fight, and we're halfway through the season now. So any of these top guys can definitely still make it. It's still very, very tight. It's all to play for.
Certainly is. Just news on another one of our championship contenders, Luca Harrison, who is 34 points back in the championship. Will not be racing with us tonight, we believe. We haven't seen him in any of the practice sessions this week, and so far hasn't joined the practice session here either. So we had Brian Boomsma absent from the Nürburgring round, and we have Luca Harrison absent from this one. But of course, there is the 1 drop round that they can take. So for both of them, that will apply to the one they missed, and they'll still get the points from the rest of their races. That 1 drop score applied after round 5 before the finale, so you can't take your drop score into the finale there. And of course, we can't talk about what happened last time out without mentioning Danny Henny. This new tyre model that I think we talked about in the Nürburgring, and I'm sure we'll talk about more as tonight goes on, because it's really become a factor in the Formula 3 championships in general on iRacing. Struggling to adapt to it.
Yeah, it's definitely made a big difference to the drivers, and they've had to put a lot of practice in. Danny saying he wants to get a few race stints on board just so he can get a feel for the tyres, because they definitely don't suit his driving style, which may have brought the field a little bit closer, which I'm all for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly been fascinating to see as we go on board with Danny Henny here as he exits the Loop complex and onto the Wellington Straight. Fastest in this session at the moment, I should say, on a 51.1 by a 10.5 to Alex Van Gien and then Tim Ellis. That's the top 3 at the moment in this session. But Danny, one of the more aggressive drivers behind the wheel, not necessarily in terms of his racecraft, but the way he drives the car, and that just isn't working with this new tyre model, which has become so sensitive now to the core tyre temperatures. So all that sliding has been cooking up those rear tyres much quicker than he wants them to be. And, he's saying that after lap 4 or 5, he's really starting to struggle. And the feature race is 12 laps long. So for the majority of the race, he's going to be struggling.
Absolutely, there's something they all have to contend with, but Danny particularly, he's a joy to watch because he just loves to keep that car on the knife edge and just dancing it around, playing with the steering wheel, just trying to see if he can eke every last bit of grip out of it. But that does mean that does generate a little bit more lateral scrubbing forces in the tyres, and then, as you said, Chris, it does overheat them somewhat, and he's definitely been struggling more than some of the others. But that's what you get when you're trying to get the ultimate pace out of one of these glorious machines.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it unfolds across the 3 races tonight. I have a bit of an update on Luca Harrison, actually. He's just informed us in the YouTube chat that he has GCSE work to do, and that is why he's not racing with us tonight. It's easy to forget just how young Luca is among a field of much more experienced competitors. Sounds a little bit early to be doing the GCSE stuff from my memory of school, but there you go.
My memory of school is very, very blurred now, so I would defer to your superior knowledge on that one, Chris.
Yeah, it was a little bit sooner for me, wasn't it? But Danny Henney, one thing he has not forgotten to do is how to hot lap. He does that certainly very well, still very, very quick in qualifying, as he's proven in this free practice session. And he took the liberty of guiding us around this Silverstone circuit.
Hi guys, and welcome to an onboard lap with myself around Silverstone circuit. Just coming through the last couple of corners now, lining the car up to cross the start finish line. And here we go, we're away. Coming down to turn 1 and 2, we're going to take these flat, but we're going to try to use as minimal steering as we can to keep the speed up. In for 1, stay tight through 2. We're going to look for the curb on the left as the braking point, hit the brakes, down 3 gears into the apex. Accelerate as soon as you're on the apex into 4, brake. Keep it nice and tight, straighten the car as early as you can, watch the oversteer on the exit as it can spin you. Going to go on to the Wellington straight now. Keep that steering wheel smooth to keep the maximum speed down the straight. We're going to look for the 50 metre board on the right. As soon as we're there, we're going to hit the brakes, down 2 gears, down another 1, get it in, accelerate as soon as on the apex, into left field, nice gentle braking, down into 2nd, rotate the car, hit the accelerator as hard as you can, use all the exit curb. Again, onto the old pit straight now, minimal steering to keep the speed up. We're going to head over to the left, we're going to look for that last marker board on the left coming up. As soon as we get to it, a little bit of brakes to blend to get the nose in, and then straight back on the throttle. Use all the exit curb that you can, but watch out for those 1Xs. Into Maggots and Beckett's, we're going to go flat through the left, flat through the right, a little bit of brake to get the nose in and down 1 gear, accelerate, down again 1 gear, get the nose in and accelerate as early as you can. The earlier you can get on the throttle, the more speed you'll carry down this straight. We're going to diagonal this straight now, again looking for the curb to start on the left. As soon as we get to it, we're going to hit the brakes and down 2 gears just before the last marker board. Get the nose in, as soon as it hits the apex, we're going to pick the throttle up, again watch the exit curb for a 1X. Heading down into the last couple of corners, we're going to hit the brakes as soon as the curb starts, down 3 gears, get the nose in, a little bit of acceleration, bit of a lift, get the nose pointed, watch the oversteer, and back on that throttle to cross the start-finish line. It's a 151 lap, hope you enjoyed it, and good luck for tonight.
It's a fantastic lap, this Silverstone circuit. So thanks to Danny once again for providing us with the details of this magnificent classic Formula One venue. And we have seen some just unbelievable races since we've been using this in our Missed Apex championship races, since the Formula Renault days, where Danny Henney put on that impeccable double overtake into Stowe Corner to take the win last year. And then, of course, more amazing battles when we came here with the Formula 3 for the first time, which we hope to see again tonight. Chris, I believe we have some drivers that we are going to talk to before we head into qualifying.
We do. Speaking of amazing battles, we have our martyr defender, Alex Van Geen, in the box with us. Alex, how are you doing?
I am all good. How are you guys this evening?
Great. And, you're always one to watch in our reverse grid races, putting on a defensive masterclass at the Nürburgring the last time out. But this time you look to be right up there on pace. You're in second at the moment, just behind Danny. What is it about Silverstone that, that you particularly love and makes you fast?
I've just always, I know the circuit really, really well. Driven it a million times. I guess it suits my style. You've got to be quite aggressive. And I definitely have a nosebleed though as far as the standings are concerned, but I think a lot of the very fast people turned up once the track went off, so I don't expect to be that high up come qualifying in all of 10 minutes though.
Oh, we shall see. And speaking of Danny, who is your main rival at the moment, as you say, that might change, but he's your friend off track. Last time there were some fireworks. Are we expecting more of the same this evening?
If he doesn't understeer off the track and hit me, yeah. But yeah, no, me and Danny are close, and we've been that conversation about what happened at Turn 1 at Nürburgring hasn't really stopped since the last race. But it's all good fun and all good banter.
You're telling me it certainly hasn't stopped. That's what makes it wonderful, though, is to know that people are so passionate and so involved in this series. And Silverstone is a much harder circuit, being a lot wider, lots of overtaking opportunities. What's your tips on defending around here?
As you said, because it's so wide, it is very difficult to overtake here. For a lot of corners like Brooklands, you've kind of got to keep them. You've got to keep yourself on the inside, but it's more about carrying the speed and braking a little bit later into things like Brooklands, because Brooklands is a really good overtaking opportunity, but you can overtake round the inside or the outside, so it does depend who you're up against.
Absolutely, and you've got to make sure you leave the racing room, and I'm hopeful that we'll get some really fantastic action this evening. Alex, what would be success for you tonight? What do you reckon in race 1? Where are you going to end up?
I'd love to end the night with at least one podium. It would be mega, because I don't really get many, especially in the first race. I've never had a first race podium, so it would be nice to be at least in the hunt for it.
All the best. Have a good night, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you later.
Thanks, man.
Alex Van Gien, having taken his first victory, I think, was it ever? In the Formula 3s at least, at Suzuka 2 rounds ago, and then was in contention for the victory again. And actually that race that he won at Suzuka, in second place was this man, Richard Spanisretti, a missed Apex 1-2, and we have him lined up next, I believe.
Good evening, guys. I was very upset by that, Chris, because he only ended up on the reverse pole because he dropped it the race before. And so the reverse pole is for us midfield idiots to have a chance at glory, and Van Gien stole it.
Speaking of glory, Spanners, you got top 10 pace here tonight. What's your secret?
It might be a bit better. I can't tell, to be honest, because the track evolution is so different in the latest update, and the tyre evolution is different. So I set my laps very early on green laps when the track was a little bit greener. And when we were doing the practice races on Tuesday, I'm in this weird situation, Catman. If I'm at the front, I think I could keep up with the front battle. But if I'm in 35th, I think I'm going to get stuck as well.
Yeah, it's a very tight field, but also, as you say, you kind of match your pace as you're around sometimes.
Have you guys spoken about the tyres yet?
We have, and I'm sure we'll go into a lot of depth about that. How are you feeling with the new tyre model?
Well, it's suiting the smoother drivers a little bit, because overheating really is the key one. And I think if you're in a pack, you're going to have to be clever, and you're going to have to say, oh, right, maybe I sit in this pack for a bit, maybe I lift off through Maggots, Beckett's, and then like choose my moment to attack. So it might be a little bit of that.
Absolutely. And do you think you've got a smooth driving style? Is that why you're good around Silverstone, do you think?
Well, look, this is it. You're saying I might be good round here based on a practice lap time. My qualifying is always awful, so there's that. My main aim is, can I finish in the top 20 in the first race and then make a nuisance of myself in the second race?
Oh, I think you're being a bit modest. We've got, you're our gold championship leader at the moment.
No, am I?
Yep, you are indeed.
I don't like
that. Do you think you can mount a serious title challenge? You got Boomsma and Raskovitz around you.
Raskowitz is always so tough, and Boomsma's pace is absolutely electric. I don't know. If I do win it, it'll look like I created a category for me to go and win. So I'm hoping I don't.
Well, we've got you're on 261 and Booms is on 217, so you're a good 40-50 points ahead there. So no pressure going into tonight to see if you can get some.
Tell you what, I'm going to get my elbows out in the midfield. I'm going to get my elbows out. I am going to race, and I am going to have a little bit more risk in my driving tonight.
We love to see it. We want to see those elbow spanners. Have a good evening.
Good luck.
Speaking of Missed Apex panelists who are in contention for the title, of course we do have Spanners leading the Gold Championship. We also have Matt Trumpets third in the Silver class as well, and of course Carl Power third in the overall standings as well. So plenty to play for the Missed Apex panel. Unfortunately, Alex Van Gien not really in contention. I don't want to say anywhere, but not contending for any titles at the moment, as that is the end of free practice. We now go into the open 10-minute qualifying session, and it's Alex Jonesma who's leading the pack out of the pit lane and onto the first laps of qualifying. A new livery for Alex Jonesma, actually. The red and black on his car now, as we see Spanners following Van Gien out of the loop. And while these guys are on an out lap, I'll just take this moment to thank you once again for joining us for round 4 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup on the Missed Apex Motorsport YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. You can catch up on all of the Missed Apex esports events at this channel, and of course our iRacing podcast as well. So do please stick around for that. And if you haven't already subscribed to the Missed Apex podcast main channel, go and do that now. We just hit 13,000 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We just had a chat with Uncle Joe a couple of days ago. That is available to watch now on YouTube, or indeed on your podcatcher of choice as well. And of course we'll have a new show on Sunday between the Saudi Arabian and it's not the San Marino, the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. I was back in 2006 for a second there, Chris.
Heady glory days, those ones. It's stacking up to be an interesting season in Formula One, but also here on the virtual circuit as well. They're just starting or finishing off their out laps and looking to start their quali laps now.
I was also at completely the wrong venue as well. It's the Australian Grand Prix next, so don't come to me for any calendar advice, because I'm miles off, apparently.
We might be
to Melbourne next.
We might be wrong, but we're first.
Absolutely, and first at the moment on track is Alex Jonesma, flying through the first couple of corners and breaking into Village for his first flying laps of qualifying. And it must be said, this tyre model has affected qualifying a little bit. We used to wait for the end of qualifying for the tyres to finally get into a good operating window, which used to take multiple flying laps. Now it seems like the best of the tyres comes in around lap 2 or 3.
Absolutely, and in the middle of the pack, you've got to be very careful not to overcook your tyres, trying to make yourself some space, or trying to fight off someone trying to get their own space behind you. So it's definitely added to the tactics, changed them once again, and we love to see it.
We certainly do. Riding on board with Alex Jonesma as he heads down the old pit straight and into Copse Corner. Just a little lift in these cars. It's a joy to drive in. Joy to drive in one of these cars, flying through Maggots and Beckett's now, a little wide of the apex, but then of course this is a part of the track where you have to be super careful with these curves because of the updates they made a couple of months ago to the off track and the track limits here. It's very easy to pick up a clumsy 1x for what you might otherwise consider being the racing line.
That's very true, and also we're being very tight on our 1x limits this race, so that we don't get people abusing those track limits. So watch out for a few penalties and a few dodgy instances as we're going along the race.
Yes, absolutely. It's effectively 1 per lap as we get into the races. 12 for the feature race and 10 for the sprint. but no such troubles for Jongsma on his first flying lap, and sets the benchmark pace of 1 minute 51.766, currently a tenth of a second ahead of Tim Ellis, and then Kyle Power and Alex Van Gien coming through the timing. And Danny Henney was fastest for a second there, but then the championship leader Stephen Williams pipped him to the post there by 0.06 of a second, so 1:51.591. Gregor Gomes now goes quickest in the pink and white number 18 car. Gregor Gomes, a newcomer to the championship last time out at the Nürburgring, and made his mark fairly early on with a great battle for the podium with Kyle Power, and he hasn't lost any of that speed yet, it seems.
Absolutely, he was an absolute revelation last time out, and he's doing so again. That is a great lap to go just ahead of Stephen Williams. It's crucial for Stephen Williams' championship that he keeps it up there or thereabouts with Danny Henney. I'm really pleased to see that he's got that pace this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Just 0.08 of a second split Gomes and Williams at the moment. Less than 0.07 of a second covers the top three after the first round of flying laps. Brian Boomsma has put himself fourth at the moment, as we're on board with the championship leader in that Aston Martin tribute colour livery car. Flying
in the
through.
Car it's beautiful, and the car in front of us is Danny Henney as well, so watch out for any mistakes he might be making up there. Crucial times. Is he close enough to be getting that slipstream, Chris? Not quite.
Maybe just about. It might be the perfect window. The slipstream has become quite powerful here, it must be said, and I'll tell you what, the way these cars are geared as well for this track, they will reach the VMAX down the hangar straight if they are in the tow. So he's got to position his car perfectly not to sort of top out there too early. So Jonesma comes back across the line and reclaims that top spot, to be usurped again by Henney, and Williams I don't think improved on that last year. It was 51.7 last time around, so he didn't improve, drops down to 5th place overall now. Gregor Gomes also didn't improve. He went a 10th slower, so it's Henney on pole provisionally on merit at the moment with a 51.2, just gone a quarter of a second quicker than Alex Jonesma in second place.
Absolutely, it is so tight at the top there between second and, well, 5th place really. There's only a couple of tenths in it, so it's very, very tight. So tiny little mistakes, tiny little improvements can get you a number of positions, and that could be crucial come the start of the feature race.
Just saw the rear end wobbling there on Danny Henney's car as we were running on board with him through Brooklands, and that's just not the kind of thing you need to do, cooking up those rear tyres. What does he look like through Copse? That is very much on the limit of a 1X there. I think he just about got away with it.
He did, and actually we saw Kyle Power just jumping out of the way there, so he may have overcooked his tyres. He's going to take a lap to maybe get those back on condition. That was good through Beckett's there for Danny Henney.
Brian Boomsma up to second place now, still 2 tenths away from Henney, but he's pulled himself up the order as Henney. He's pulled off, so I think he's trying to cool off the tyres there maybe, and go for one last good flying lap. He's got to be careful not to get in the way of Lucas Raskovits there, and he's going to start a lap right behind Raskovits as well. There was Jolsma flying through Abbey, but here's Henney. He's going to start. It won't be his final flying lap. There's still 2 minutes to go in the session, so he's got enough time for an additional one after this. But he's bored himself right up behind Raskovits here, which is an interesting strategy.
It's very strange because I don't think he's given himself enough time to cool off the tyres either, so he is right tucked up under his rear wing. This will be hurting his lap time significantly, so I think this might be a little bit of a tactical error, dare I say it, here from Danny. Let's see if he can pull it out of the bag, or if this gives the others an opportunity. There he goes, you see.
Yeah, he's backed up. I mean, there was one thing to try and get behind someone to get a tow, but Lucas Raskovits currently 16th in the standings. I don't think that was maybe the right car to get caught up behind, or indeed that closely as well. So he might have to get on with it, because we said it's sort of close to the mark. I think he's got about a 20-second window to try and get another lap in here. Still on pole provisionally at the moment with that 51.2. 2/10 of a second to Boomsma, and Drillsma still in third place as well. Van Geen still showing that really strong pace that he had in free practice, with fourth at the moment, and then Gregor Gomes in fifth. The championship leader Stephen Williams in sixth at the moment. Here is Boomsma tucked right up behind another car, which is not where he wants to be at all. I think that's Mike Stoner, magician by trade, and there was nothing magic about that Brooklands corner for him there as he let Boomsma through.
That's it. And also Gregor Gomes, car number 18, down in fifth position. He's just trying to find himself some space now because he was tucked right up behind some other cars as well. So there's a bit of traffic going on out there, Chris. That may determine things. Drillsma's got a nice amount of space. He's really going for it, so we'll watch him, see if he can make any time up. But the other contenders, they seem to be a little bit bulked in the traffic at the moment.
Well, Henny has found himself a half-decent gap for his last attempt, and he will get over the line in time to start it. And for Alex Drillsma, this is his last attempt as well. So Drillsma currently third fastest and looking to improve on that. But here's Henny as he starts his final lap of qualifying. Gets in early into Village, and still the back end just complaining a little bit through this lower speed section of the circuit. Well, the checkered flag is out, so now is the time to make it count.
Little update for you for Spanners. He's nearly got top 10 paces in P13 at the moment.
Yeah, Alex Van Geen actually the top panelist at the moment in fourth place, then Kyle Power, and then Spanners, as you mentioned, in 13. Oh, Danny Henny gone for a spin down at Luffield, and that is his qualifying over, so he will not get one final attempt in here. We'll see if anyone else can dethrone him at the front of the field.
On the replay there, you just saw him drop it under power. That was just a plain and simple mistake there from Danny, under pressure to try and see if he can just bring that lap time just that little bit further out of reach, because they are quite close, Chris.
They certainly are indeed. So here is Alex Drillsma, potentially on a lap that could dethrone Danny Henny at the front of the field. It's a 51.276 to beat, and Drillsma comes across the line now. It is a 51.5, still didn't improve on that last lap, so he remains in third place. And I don't think anyone is quite on a good enough lap to challenge for pole position at the moment. So despite that spin, it seems like Henny's got away with it.
He has. I think he had the time in the bag. Maybe the tyres were getting a bit too hot. I don't think this is over and done with, Chris. I think there's a couple of guys out there, but this is going to be very important for the race. I think Danny is looking a little bit fragile out there.
I think that's safe to say. He's been saying that after a few laps, he is really losing the rear grip because of this overheating tyres situation. And, well, we saw it there just in qualifying. And we see it there with David Hatton as well. The back end really complaining. And it complains even more in the little loop there, at the loop.
Mate, the drivers may be complaining, but this is so much fun to see, watching them wrestle these cars through the corners, particularly the slower ones where they've got less aerodynamic grip and rely more on the mechanical grip from those tyres. It's wonderful to watch.
It is really good. It's proper challenging, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's just like the Formula One cars of nowadays. You know, you've got it is a bit more of a challenge, and that's what we like to see. We want to see these guys work for their money.
We certainly do. So, Danny Henny on pole position for the feature race, then, which the grid is being lined up for now. We still have a few minutes until the green flag, so we will see another a shootout here between Henny and Boomsma at the front of the field. Brian Boomsma, for us at least, a little bit of an unknown because he wasn't taking part in yesterday's practice sessions, so not actually sure where his pace lies in relation to the likes of Henny and co. Gregor Gomes right up there in fifth place again as well. The championship leader, Stephen Williams, starts in sixth place here. I give you an update a bit further back as we see the cars having to go around the Vale chicane. We've got so many cars here. We have a 40-car grid here at Silverstone, tonight, and it's too many to fit on the straight, apparently. But just outside the top 10, we have got some key players such as Tim Ellis and Alexander Dobbelsberger in 11th and 12th. There, people we would normally expect to see a little bit higher up. So, just under 40 seconds or so until the red lights come on for the feature race, round 4 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup, and it will be Danny Henney, number 93, the red car, on pole position. Then Brian Boomsma will take up the vacant slot in second. There it will be the black and gold car, the 023. Then Alex Johnsma in red and black in third, alongside Alex Van Gien, car number 4, starting in 4th place. Gregor Gomes in pink and white in 5th. Then the championship leader, Stephen Williams, in that familiar Aston Martin green, alongside the much brighter green of Kyle Power in 7th place. Colin Ward in the 90s Williams colours in 8th place there, ahead of David Hatton in the Monster Energy car in 9th place. And then Mark Greenhow completes your top 10. Tim Ellis in 11th place in blue and yellow. Alexander Dobbelsberger in 12th place in the Ace of Space car. As the red lights come on and we're about to get underway for the feature race of the 4th round of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. And there is no Brian Boomsma on the grid. He has not started the race, so that is a clear run through turn 1 for Danny Henney, who leads from Alex Van Gien, trying to get up alongside Alexander Drolsma there. Down the inside he goes into the loop. And this will be crucial for Drolsma's race, because we know how hard that Van Gien can race. And it's a big slip. Oh, and a spin for Drolsma. That is another race where Drolsma has lost it on the opening lap, but it's a clean run now for Alex Van Gien to go into second place. Gregor Gomes in third, alongside the championship leader, who's trying to get himself into a podium place. Down the inside into Brooklands corner. On the opening lap, Kyle Power waiting patiently in the wings as well, but for Gomes, he is standing his ground on the way into Luffield for now.
Well, these cars look so dicey on cold tyres, don't they? They're really having to dance around each other. That is such a shame for a couple of the guys up there. Just we've lost a couple of the really fast drivers in the first lap, but riding on board now with Kyle Power, that is Stephen Williams ahead as they come through Copse Corner.
And Gregor Gomes already using a 1X there on the exit of Copse Corner. We'll be talking about that, I'm sure, as the race progresses. But with Power now filing through Maggots and Beckett's, it's an absolute train of cars flying through this brilliant sequences of corners. And it's 1.2 seconds is Henney's advantage as they exit there and onto the hangar straight. And here's Williams making another move now for third place on Gregor Gomes. He'll have the inside line. Not quite got the legs there on the straight against Gomes, but brakes a little bit harder into the corner and actually has to get pinned up on the curb. That is going to allow Power to challenge him on the way into the Vale chicane. It's Power now with the line into the left-hander. Williams is fighting him though around the outside. They're going to go side by side here around the final couple of corners at the end of lap 1, and it is Williams still just about ahead, with David Hatton trying to get in there as well. We can see looking ahead there is Power just with half a car alongside, but he has to yield into Abbey. We'll have another look on the way into the village. There's Tim Ellis trying to go right round the outside there of David Hatton and makes that work. What a brilliant move that he's just put on. And Hatton trying to fight him back on the exit of the corner, but Ellis there makes up a place into 6th.
Yeah, it looked like Hatton was the dangerous one, but Ellis snuck in there around the outside into the arena complex. That was beautiful. Here comes Power looking down the inside. Thinks better of it this time round. All of this squabbling though, Chris, with Gomes and is just getting away ahead. They're just a little bit behind Van Gien now, but they are starting to pull a little bit of a gap ahead of Williams, who's having to fight off Power once again.
Well, this all started because Williams tried to get down the inside of Stowe Corner on Gomes to get onto the podium. He's now got his mirrors full of Kyle Power in 5th place there. Round Copse once again, and as you say, getting a little detached from the podium battle already. Here's Power with a great run out of Copse Corner, but thinks better of making a lunge up the inside of Maggots and Beckett's, and will wait for his run down the straight.
He's definitely showing himself in those mirrors, but it's going to take a lot to put Stephen Williams off. He's a very seasoned campaigner, but here he comes, Chris, in the tow down the hangar straight.
Got a great slipstream down here. This is where you reach VMAX top speed with a good tow, and down the inside goes Power, and he's able to make that move work. Unlike Stephen Williams a lap ago, and he puts himself into 4th place. And now Williams, the championship leader, has got to be very careful because he's now got his mirrors full of Ellis and Hatton and Dobertsberger and Ward and all the rest of the field coming after him as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a train forming behind these guys. What a wonderful battle these two are having. Kyle might well be able to put the legs on Williams this time round and see if Ellis and Hatton behind them can make any lunges. Not this time round, I don't think.
Well, Ellis with a big lunge down the inside, though, into Village, and Williams, ever the cautious racer there, has to leave him some space, but is able to repel him for now. But look at the exit that Ellis got, and they're practically bumping wings, these three cars, as they head down the Wellington straight, and Williams trying to squeeze Ellis up on the inside. Hatton making it 3 wide on the outside. Now they both go by. That is brilliant racing. So Ellis is through. Hatton trying to sneak through on the inside, still at left field. Williams desperately trying to hang on to this position because the championship leader is dropping like a stone at the moment.
He is. I don't think he fancied being the meat in that sandwich. He's just got to be careful. As we said, the whole point, the reason why he's up the top is because he's kept it clean all this time. But he's under so much pressure. That's Dobertsberger come flying up as well. He's gone in between them, Chris.
Oh, that is brave stuff. We're going to go 3 wide into Maggots and Beckett's, and it's Dobertsberger with the bravery who comes out on top. And Hatton still trying to, and he's tagged Williams. The championship leader is round. Down at Maggots and Beckett. It was contact with Hatton. He was just trying to make his way alongside there. Tagged the rear corner of Williams' car, and he is tumbling down the order now. Just catching the end of it on the replay there, but that is not what Williams needed at all.
It is
Here
not.
we go.
I
We
think
got
he
a
was.
good look at it.
Yeah, it just looked like Hatton just stuck his nose in probably where it wasn't wanted there through Beckett. I think Williams was having enough of letting cars past, particularly Dobertsberger, who just absolutely shoved it in between. That was fantastic to see. But I think he was getting frustrated there and just decided that that was enough and just chopped to front, and that was it. But that's very costly for him, down to P19 now, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got David Hatton, who has been compromising that as well. He's down in 9th place at the moment. He's got 2 old sparring partners right in front of him as well, in the form of Spanners and Colin Ward. Spanners trying to get up the inside there of Ward into the loop, and nicely done indeed. Ward made a bit of a hames of that corner, and Spanners needed no second invitation there, and Hatton will be trying to get his way back through as well. Ward, we know, is also a very robust defender in this pack. Many a reverse grid pole position that he has converted into podium finishes with his elbows out attitude, but couldn't do anything to stop Hatton there into Luffield.
Say that, Chris. He's still got his nose just on the outside. It's going to make it very interesting to Kopp's corner. He's going to have to back out from the outside line, surely.
Yeah, you need to be fully alongside if you're going to have a chance at making it around the outside of Kopp's corner. Still showing his nose, though, into Maggots and Beckett. Look at this train of cars, though.
Speaking of Maggots and Beckett, Alex Van Gien has just dropped it coming through Beckett from 2nd place.
Oh, that is a disaster for him. He was on for another fantastic result. We see him there. Oh, trying to chop the nose there of David Hatton down the hanger straight. So he's... And we just catch the end of it. Here we go. We can see how it happened now. Is it going to be too much curb here? It was too much curb down at the final apex just before they get into Chapel. And, he's being swarmed at the moment, though, and getting caught up there. Oh, he's made contact now with Mark Greenhow. I think he was avoiding a car that was diving up the inside. I believe that was Taro Tylus trying to get his nose up the inside of the Vale chicane, and in trying to avoid it, he's rather clobbered Greenhow there, who was a bit of an innocent victim in all that, unfortunately. And that looks like it's Van Gien done for this race. What a shame.
That is, and he can't even recover to the top 20 to see if he can make a stab of it in the second race. Oh, dropping it from 2nd place. He was under a lot of pressure, to be fair, but that was just absolutely gutting there for Alex.
Oh, well, up at the front of the field, it's a little bit calmer, it must be said. Greg Gomes now finds himself in 2nd place. I was going to say he was just closing in there on Van Gien. Gomes, we saw in the practice races, was able to take quite good care of his tyres. I mean, all these guys dropping out of contention. You know, there was no Boomsma made the start of the race. and Van Gien not getting through as well. Drillsman's dropped it as well. I mean, this is just music to Danny Henny's ears, as he's got a 3-second margin now over the second place car, with car power a further 2 seconds back. Here is David Hatton, still on the recovery drive in 7th place there, with Spanners Ready having a nosebleed up there in 6th place at the moment, but in the tow down the hangar straight for David Hatton, and Spanners, I don't think will be defending that one into Stowe Corner, and rather breezes the 666 car by into the right-hander. So that is Hatton up into 6th place now. He's got about 3.8 seconds to Dobertsberger in 5th place now, as we're at the halfway mark of this race, lap 6 of 12. That is potentially recoverable, but I think from here that David will take a 6th.
Yeah, beast mode engaged. He wasn't going to stop him coming through there. That's a good result there for David Hatton, who's had a little bit of time in the wilderness, it must be said, recently. But yeah, good, solid move there on Spanners. See if he can keep it ahead of Colin Ward, as you said. There's a little gap there, but yeah, there are only a couple of laps left.
An interesting battle for 9th place at the moment between Colton Myers, who is the current silver class leader, against the reigning silver class champion Lucas Raskovits, promoted to gold for this season. Actually sits 3rd in that championship at the moment. We're on board with Raskovits going through Brooklands. We see Myers getting just a little deep there into the left-hander, and Raskovits piling on the pressure on Colton Myers there ahead of him. Oh, Myers actually feeling the need to go defensive into... Oh, he's waved him on by. Now, did he get a slowdown penalty there, I wonder, out of Luffield? Either way, that is a very easy pass that Raskovits has made there, which means we can actually turn our attention to the battle for 4th place between Tim Ellis and Alexander Dobertsberger. Ellis under pressure here from the man in the Ace of Spade colour car, and well, going on the form that Dobertsberger showed when he made that double pass into Maggots and Beckett's, he's feeling quite racy tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be one to watch out for as they come through a yellow flag. There was obviously somebody off the circuit a little bit ahead of them, but yeah, it looks like Tim Ellis ahead has got to be very careful if he gets even a sniff of going down the inside, because you know he's going to take it.
Oh, he's slowed down massively out of or down the straight. He's just lost about a second to Ellis. Now, I would say that is the slowdown, but he's currently on 0 incident points. So, not sure what's happened there to Dobertsberger, unless he's just made a bit of a mistake, a slide out of a corner, or got it a bit wrong. But he was piling the pressure on Ellis, and now Ellis has got a bit of breathing room. It's fairly equidistant now to Carl Power in 3rd place. I was about to say we might have a bit of a battle brewing for the last spot on the podium with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, they've all strung themselves out a little bit. All the hot-headed action seems to have abated for the moment.
It certainly has. So Danny Henny still leading the field, 3.5 seconds clear now. And, well, no sign of this tyre trouble that he's been having. I wonder if he's just been goading us this entire week, and actually he's been absolutely fine all week long, and was just lulling us into a false sense of security.
Sounds like a Mercedes tactic rather than a Ferrari tactic, which is his preferred team. Looking at a bit further back down the pack, we got Trumpets here in car number 55. We've yeah, he looks like he's having a good race down in 26th place. He was having a bit of a battle a moment ago, and yeah, he's doing very well for himself in the silver class in the championship.
Oh, okay. So we have we have an unusual incident here. There is a safety car out because Now, normally we don't have safety cars in these races, but there seems to have been a bit of an admin error here. This is going to go down. There is the Porsche safety car. Chris, you mentioned there was an incident on track. We've had yellows out since then, and Danny's now letting the Cayman safety car go through. This is most unusual.
Well, we were just saying that the drama had abated. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be quite an exciting restart, because these guys are probably not very used to doing safety car restarts. They're
Well,
probably
we've never had one.
Exactly. So this could prove some more carnage coming towards the end of the race. They'll have about, what's it going to be, 3, possibly 2 laps left at the end of it. So it's going to be a bit of a lights to flag dash.
Yeah,
Danny
we're
Henny
on
will
lap
be
8
upset.
of 12. Well, yeah, so we're on 8 of 12. Henny's 3.5 second lead has been eradicated here, but it does at least give everyone a chance to cool their tyres off a bit. Just looking at Alexander Dobbelsberger there, is that a glitch, or has he got no front wing?
No, he's got damage to the front of the car. There's no front wing on Alex Dobbelsberger's car, so that may have happened as the slowdown for the safety car. Maybe he didn't see it, but he looks like he's rear-ended somebody quite significantly.
Yeah, now the place to look there for the subsequent damage would be the rear of Tim Ellis's car. I don't know how well iRacing does modelling on the rear wing of these cars for damage, but that would be logical sense if he's gone into the back of Ellis's car.
He has.
Most
I can
extraordinary.
see the left rear end plate of Tim Ellis's rear wing. If we can focus on that, that is bent slightly inwards. So they must have come together during the safety car period. You can see there quite significant damage. So both of those guys may be compromised. Again, adding a little bit to the drama with David Hatton behind them.
And then we can see the damage.
Yeah,
there's
so
the
that's
damage to Tim Ellis's number 14 car there, just on the right-hand side as we look at it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to provide quite a loss of downforce, that, and a bit of drag too. So he'll be a sitting duck as they come to the restart. I think, is it safety car?
There'll be another lap. Usually the safety car lights come on as they enter the third sector, and the lights are still on that car. So it looks like we'll get another lap here. Plenty of drivers weaving to maintain some tyre temperature here. This is just a bizarre circumstance. We've never had a safety car enabled in our session. And do you know what? As much as this is, an admin error, let's not go and say, well, this is a bit ridiculous and the admins have made a mistake here, because I can't remember how many of these events we've run at this point, but we've had no dramas up until this point. So we see Dobbelsberger coming into the pits to get that front wing fixed. So
we'll call it competition caution, shall we? It was getting a bit strung out, so yeah, there you go. They do that all the time in NASCAR. Why not us?
So another lap under the safety car then, lap 9 of 12 we are on now. So if we go green at the end of this one, we will have 3 green flag laps at the end of this one. And
it looks like we will do, Chris, because the lights are now out on the top of the safety car, so they will be coming in at the end of this one, but it is crawling round if it's going to go at this pace. In fact, having a look just what's happened there, Dobbelsberger seems to have come out in front as the leader because because of the short pit lane here. He must have used his quick repair. He's now coming up as first and pulling away as he's trying to drive around to catch the back of the safety car. He's going to be a whole lap ahead of the rest of the field. He's realised. I think he's just realised what's happening, so he might well try and avoid a penalty by dropping back a little bit with that one.
He's surely got to... he's definitely used the fast repair. He was in the box for less than a second. So he's having done a Lucas de Grassi at the London Prix, but accidentally rather than deliberately. So I think he's going to let the safety car through. I wonder if he'll just sort of drop back to his original position. Can he do that without automatically incurring a penalty?
I would have thought so. I don't think he can go much slower, though. The safety car really needs to hurry up and let him by. I'm assuming it will overtake him as it comes around. Here he goes, dives down the inside. So where is he going to file back in? Because he was just behind Tim Ellis, wasn't he? So, there he goes. Slots in. Just coming out of through Woodcote now.
So,
That's a bit
so
of a
he
cheat,
hasn't
isn't it?
lost out. Well, oh no, it's telling him to overtake everyone.
Oh.
And
Well, this is a
so he's just-
disaster for
So he's just gone back through.
Robertsburg.
Yeah, maybe on the restart he will let them back through. But so he's got away with breaking his front wing because of the safety car, but then he really only broke his front wing because of the safety car. So I think karma-wise, it's all kind of evened out.
That is true. Apart from for Tim Ellis, of course, who's still got that bent rear wing and hasn't been able to fix that. So we'll see how he fares on the restart.
Well,
that was
he'll know in
dramatic.
future, won't he? Oh, this is ridiculous. So, Dobbelsberger in third there. He's now trying to let Power and Ellis back through. I wonder if before he got the message from the crew chief he had to overtake those two cars. Looks okay now, though. I will just say, the admins do such a wonderful job for us. We're not going to pick them apart for this. Because they do so much of the work that needs to be done to put this championship on. And in fairness, this is the first slip-up we've ever had. And it's going to create a thrilling finale to this feature race. It must be said, unprecedented circumstances here at Silverstone for the fourth round of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup. As they go down the hangar straight, safety car lights are off. We're going to go green again. Drivers weaving, trying to get those tyres back up to temperature. We will have 3 green flag laps to take us to the end of this 12-lap feature race. Danny Henney had a 3.5-second lead when the safety car came out, and he now has Gregor Gomes right on his gearbox with Carl Power, Tim Ellis and Alexander Dobbelsberger in hot pursuit as well. The safety car comes in, and Henney will take control of the pack, and he will launch it when he sees fit, and I think he has done so now. Oh, he's playing some games here with Gomes. He's going to leave it right to the last possible moment to floor the throttle as they come out of the final corner. Now he will have to go. Now he does so indeed, and Gregor Gomes will be looking for every opportunity to try and get past Colin Ward to the inside, trying to make a move as well, but it's a flurry of cars piling through Abbey as we go green for the final 3 laps of this race. Will Gomes have a look towards the inside, towards the first braking zone? He does not. Kyle Power trying to find a way through in third place as well there, but it is still Henney who leads. Coming out of the loop complex, Gomes and Power in hot pursuit. Tim Ellis under big pressure from Alexander Dobbelsberger in 4th place, and it's Dobbelsberger who's going to the inside of Brooklands, and Hatton once again creating a 3-wide scenario here. Hasn't worked out. Oh, Ellis has dropped it down at Brooklands. Tyres cold and not up to temperature. He is facing the pack now, and a disaster for him on the restart. Here's a replay of it. Just got into Brooklands way too hot. We'll see it again. Probably trying to avoid Hatton there as well as he stuck his nose in down on the inside, but a few free places gained there for some of the drivers. He's still down there at Brooklands actually, but Dobbelsberger and Hatton still squabbling over that 4th place behind this leading trio. So down the hangar straight once again, lap 10 of 12, and Henney is weaving his way across the track trying to break that toe. Gomes actually not in a position to strike, but Power's looking very racy there in 3rd place against Gregor Gomes. So we'll see if he can mount a challenge for 2nd place in the remaining few laps of this one. 2 laps to go when they come across the line on board with Power through the final couple of corners as he hunts down Gregor Gomes. These two had a fantastic battle for 2nd place at the Nürburgring, and the battle is resumed here. This time it's Gomes ahead of Power, and Gomes really took a few tenths there out of Henney through the final couple of corners and is right back with the number 93 as they head into the village.
He does seem to be very strong through that first sector, but this is where Danny Henney seems to have the edge. He's gone defensive early on, trying to see if he can break the toe once again, Chris.
Well, of course, Danny Henney will take back the lead in the championship with Stephen Williams all the way down in 11th place after contact earlier in this race. But Henney's still fighting for the victory here. as he needs to do, really. You know, he's had 3 wins so far this season. He wants to make it a 4th, and he's got a lap and a half separating him and a 3rd feature race win of the season. But Gomes is piling on the pressure now, and this is what we saw yesterday in those practice races. It was Gomes who was able to maintain the tyre pressures and temperatures, and Henny was not. And I dare say that Henny cut through those tyres in just a lap of the restart, but he's not getting away from Gomes.
He's not, and Gomes actually had a really tight line there through Maggotts and Beckett's. He's not going to make a challenge this time around, but he is absolutely hassling the back of Danny Henny there. This is going to be immense pressure coming into the last couple of laps.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Gomes is using up his 1Xs now. You know, he's got 12 for the very big slide for Henny, though, through the Vale chicane. I thought for a moment there that was going to be a moment where he dropped it. So 1 lap to go in this feature race. It is Henny versus Gomes for the victory. And yeah, they're definitely using up their 1Xs now because they've been really pushing the track limits. Look how close Gomes is now as they fly through the first couple of corners. He goes to the outside of Village. He's going to try and go all the way around the outside. He's got the line into the loop, and Gregor Gomes takes the lead on the final lap of the feature race. What has Danny Henny got in the pocket to come back at him? He will have the tow all the way down the Wellington straight. Gregor Gomes has to go defensive. Henny just about found a gap there on the left-hand side. There wasn't much of it, but he's found it. Down the inside he goes, and Henny reclaims the lead. Goes, he's tagged Henny. The 2 leaders come together. Kyle Power, for once again, has found himself in the lead of a race because the 2 leaders have come together. Here it is again. Gomes trying to find the inside of Luffield, but Henny was already there.
Ah, that's such a shame. There was no room there. He was covering it off nicely, but he just managed to get his front wing, just tap that rear, and that's it. Sent him round. Job done.
Kyle Power is the luckiest man in the F3 Championship. Remember Hatton and Harrison in the first ever F3 Cup race? Both spun at the final corner, squabbling over the lead, and Kyle Power took the victory. It's happened half a lap earlier this time, but Power
It's not
leads.
over.
But look at Dobbensberger. Dobbensberger is right in the slipstream down the hanger straight. It is not over for the victory with just a couple of corners to go. Dobbensberger tried to go around the outside. He's going to line himself up for the exit. I don't think he's quite close enough though, Chris. Power will have to be defensive into the chicane. Don't drop it now, Kyle, because you are about to take victory in the feature race at Silverstone. Round 4 of the Missed Apex iRacing F3 Cup feature race goes to Kyle Power in the most bizarre and dramatic race this championship has seen.
Well, that was absolute drama. We said there'd be fireworks, and boy, we had some, particularly that safety car bunched everybody up. It was very, very good for Stephen Williams, who finished in 7th place. So actually, yeah, that saved his title run a little bit there with some decent points on the board.
Have you seen who's on reverse grid pole, though? Danny Henny. He will be out for vengeance in that reverse grid race. So a bit of luck there, but my goodness me. Let's talk to some people, Chris, because we need the inside scoop on this one.
We do, and the one we can definitely get the inside scoop from is our race winner, Kyle Power. How did that look from your position, Kyle?
Oh my lord, that was very, very chaotic. Obviously, first of all, I want to say massive commiserations to both Danny and Greg. We had a bit of a strange safety car in the middle of that race, and it was all a bit chaotic, so feel a bit sorry for Danny out front, but wow, they collided, and just like Spa, the seas sort of parted for me, and I come wobbling through and managed to win the race.
Right place, right time. And you were doing some very good moves and shadowing a lot of people through that race. It's quite a hard one. How did the tyres hold up for you? Because it looked like it was a lot more tricky.
Yeah, it is quite tricky. Yeah, with these conditions and now with this new tyre model, yeah, the tyres do go off throughout the race, and I was just trying to look after my tyres. Once I was in 3rd, I was trying to be gentle, put the brake bias forward and look after the rear tyres. They were going off, so it was brewing up quite nicely to see who had looked after their tyres in the final stages of the race. So maybe look out for that for the next couple of races. But while I'm on, I just want to, I know they're watching, I just want to dedicate this win to my mother, who's having a bit of a tough time at the moment, but she's an absolute trooper, so stay strong and keep fighting, and I love you very much.
That is fantastic, Kyle. And yeah, everybody at Missed Apex wishes you well. So, Kyle, don't feel too sorry for Danny because he is going to be on the reverse grid pole.
Oh, really? He got 20th. Oh, well, that's something at least. Yeah, I feel really sorry for him. He was desperate for some points, and yeah, got it taken away from him. But it was a bit like Abu Dhabi, wasn't it? Really? So yeah, I benefited, so I can't be too displeased with it, can I?
Absolutely. So, look forward to seeing you fighting your way through in race 2. Enjoy the race. Kyle.
Cheers. Thank you.
My goodness, let's take a look at the results of that one then. So it is, it was Kyle Power taking the victory. Not sure what's happened on the timing screen there to put Alexander Dobbelsberger in first, but it was Power that took the win ahead of Alexander Dobbelsberger and then David Hatton. Richard Spanner's ready there, taking... fourth place, I believe, and then Lucas Raskowitz, Colin Ward, Stephen Williams, Alex McBride, Colton Myers, and Daniel Cook, the top 10 on that one. Gregor Gomes coming home in 11th place in the end after contact with Danny Henney on the last lap. But Henney there with 20th, as we mentioned, so he'll be on reverse grid pole for the next one. We're going to take a short break, but don't go anywhere because the reverse grid race 2 is coming up next.